Let's talk drugs. Always a good start to any discussion. A lot of shit has been going on in the boxing world, which is shedding some light on our beloved sport. This is shit I've known for a long time. Anybody who has ever boxed knows just how rampant performance enhancers are in boxing, especially at the lower ends of the chain, where fighters have not become big and there is basically no regulation of the sport whatsoever. If any of you haven't watched the video I posted on the international governing body for the sport of boxing, I posted it earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken. If you haven't watched it, watch that. I'll post the link in the description. I think it's an important message for the boxing world. If you haven't got the chance to watch it already, I'd suggest you watch it. I think it's extremely relevant, especially in the light of recent events. Lamont Peterson and Berto. Both proven steroid abusers, and honestly, neither of these guys ever crossed my mind as steroid abusers. That just goes to show you what's going on in the boxing world. And it goes to show you as well when someone is suspect, how much more likely it is that they are probably doping. I had no idea either of these guys were fucking doping, man. And they are. So if somebody is fucking suspect, how much more likely is it that they are probably doping? And it's like I said in the video last week, drug testing is nothing. It's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. This is nothing. The problems in boxing go way beyond just drug testing, man. It's the way fighters are managed, the system as it exists, which is dominated by promotions. It just doesn't work, man. It doesn't work. A lot of people have been putting a lot of good videos out on the subject. 78 Fight News especially. He has a bunch of good videos on steroid abuse and boxing. I'd recommend to any of you guys that you watch them. And a lot of guys have been posting comments in that video response I did to him or whatever. I have no problem with any of these guys, man, or anybody up here posting videos on YouTube. You know, I've never met any of these guys. I don't get personal with anyone I've never met before in my fucking life. I have my own opinions. I have my own views. I express them up on here like everyone else. Some shit I agree with, other shit I don't agree with, like anyone else. As far as the boxing talk, as a matter of fact, if you must know, 78 Fight News, Blood Boxing, BKNY, Brick City Boxing, these are the guys I follow because I feel that these guys know the shit. They definitely know, to me, more about the sport than I do because I'm still a young guy, so, you know, I mean, I haven't been around the sport as long as these guys have, so I respect their opinions when it comes to boxing. If there's shit that they say that I don't agree with, I get my opinion out there as well, you know. I can take criticism, man. I don't give a shit. Like, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks about me. So, I can take the criticism. Most of my videos haven't been received too well anyway, like, so it's no big deal, man, you know. I don't give a fuck. But anyway, back to boxing. The only people who have problems with drug tests are drug users. And this is like a line that I will repeat as I'm crawling to the fucking grave. It's nothing new. You've all heard it before. The only people who have problems with drug tests are drug users. The only people who have problems with drug tests are drug users. What the fuck was up with that Chavez Jr. incident, man? What the fuck was up with Chavez? Why does this dodgy shit only seem to happen when top-ranked fighters are in the picture, man? Why? Why has it always been that way? Case in point, Shane Mosley versus Oscar De La Hoya. Top-ranked fight. Bob Arum got busted for fixing that fight, and if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, and Shane Mosley admitted to using PEDs for that fight. So not only was there a fix in there, but at least one of the guys was on fucking roids. I mean, it's a fucking circus, man. This dude, Chavez, got out of the ring after winning a fight and refused to take a fucking drug test, man. Just told them to fuck off. And he keeps the win. This shit only happens in boxing, man. This does not happen in any other sport. We'll take a case maybe some British fight fans might be able to relate to. I don't expect the Americans to relate to this, but we all remember Rio Ferdinand. For anybody who lives in England and where football is basically a fucking religion, the same way it is in my country. For the Americans who don't know who Rio Ferdinand is, he's a football star in the English Premier League, who was, for me, the #1 central defender in the world back in around 2006, 2007, 2008. When Cristiano Ronaldo was still at United and he was really at his best. This dude missed a doping test. A scheduled doping test, mind you. He was banned from the sport for 2 fucking years. Okay, this man missed 2 entire seasons for missing a doping test. He was never caught, technically, but he was still punished. Why? Because football is a regulated sport. It has FIFA, which is the international governing body. There's the national governing body of English football as well. There are laws in place. It's a serious, organized, governed sport, not anarchy, which is what we've got in boxing, like I explained to all of you in my last video. If you didn't watch it, I repeat, go back and watch my video on international governing body for the sport of boxing. Boxing is the fucking Congo, man. We got one law in place now, one law, one new introduction, random drug testing, and all of a sudden the criminals are coming out the fucking woodworks. The more random blood tests are carried out, I'm telling you, man, this is just the start. Everyone is doing this shit. Everyone is doing this shit. It's just all covered up. Frankly, the only dudes that got caught are extremely fucking retarded, because if you read up a little bit on this shit, you'd know how fucking easy it is to get your way around a scheduled blood test. The sport is littered with cheaters, man. Cheaters are the majority, they're not the minority. In a sport where you know that you are clean, and the majority of people you may fight against are not, of course you're going to fucking protect yourself, man. And you know, at this point, we have to talk about Manny Pacquiao. Okay? We have to talk about Manny Pacquiao. A lot of the vids so far are treating Pacquiao like he's the fucking elephant in the room. You know, it makes me sick, man, how the American media, because you have to understand, it's only the American media that is protecting this dude. None of them address the fact that this man has refused to take part in random blood testing consistently, and they broke out so many different excuses, I can't even fucking go over them all. I can't even remember there have been so many. This man has a lot to answer for. Because if memory serves me well, whenever a fighter has moved up the way this man has, and carried his power, his speed, and the rest of it, there is a very, very, very good chance that he is using steroids. Couple that with the fact that he refused several opportunities to test, and the fact that his trainer has used PEDs on his fighters before, and the fact that his nutritionist and fitness assistant has a shady history involving performance enhancers, and the physical side effects, the cramping, the head growth. I mean, come on, man, 99%. This guy is taking or has taken some shit. He must have, man. The evidence is fucking there. It's just not in black and white. This is the 0.1% that's remaining is the evidence of guilt, man, in the form of a fucking positive test. This dude is not clean. He's not clean. And the way the American media keep protecting this man is just fucking disgusting, man. It is. How do Americans stand to watch ESPN without fucking going over there and setting off a bomb or something, man? Because it makes me want to throw up. Like, it makes me feel physically sick. I remember there was one guy, a journalist, and he was a sports news anchor, mind you, who actually said he doesn't care whether Manny Pacquiao is on steroids or not. He just wants Mayweather to fight him anyway. This is a fucking sports journalist. I don't remember his name. I don't care. I don't want to know what his fucking name is, man. He's a joke. I can't remember. I watched him a couple of times. He's an idiot. He knows nothing about boxing. If I'll try and find out who he is and get a picture, but like I honestly, I don't know the guy's name. I mean, you wouldn't find these types of guys within 2 feet of any serious sports news station anywhere in the world. In the UK, for example, all the boxing commentators are ex-boxers. Either ex-boxers or people who are extremely established in the field of sports commentary. I mentioned in another video, Jim Watt, the main commentator for Sky Box Office, former world champion at lightweight, if I'm not mistaken. He fought Ken Buchanan, the man who went through one of my favorite fights in boxing history with Duran. Ian Duck, one of the biggest sports commentators in the UK, he doesn't only do boxing, he does football as well, and he's a well-established sports commentator and journalist, and he does the boxing of Sky Box Office. Ricky Hatton is also a commentator. If I'm not mistaken, Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank are also boxing commentators. These guys are all boxers. I mean, how do you even allow people who can hardly even be called casual watchers of the sport and put them there as news reporters, journalists and commentators, mind you, on a sport that they know absolutely nothing about? This shit doesn't happen anywhere else in the world that is serious about boxing. Nowhere. Or sports in general, for that matter. It doesn't happen in the Italian Serie A with football. All their football commentators are ex-footballers or ex-athletes. Same as in the Olympics. If you are a commentator, you have to be an expert in what you're commentating on. Am I right? Am I not right? If you're not, what the fuck are you doing on there? These guys are giving their views on performance enhancers in sports, and none of them have ever been athletes in their fucking lives. They have no idea how any of this stuff works. They're just dumbass, retarded fans, and unfortunately their opinion has sway on the minds of the people who watch them, man. So the whole boxing fan population ends up just as retarded as they are. They blame the wrong guy or the wrong thing, and as a result, the people who are doing all the dirty bad shit get away with it. And all these problems lead back to the fact that boxing has no international or federal governing body. It's anarchy, and until that changes, this is the shit we can come to expect. Because the truth is, it's not worth being a fan of boxing anymore. It's not. It's starting to feel like I'm a fan of the WWE. We're watching a bunch of roid heads going out there, following a script. The spirit of competition has been completely phased out of the sport. There's nothing left. There's nothing left, man. It's over, man. Boxing is dead, seriously. This shit is over with, man.